We found Matt about 3.5 miles exactly from the entry point where he entered the water, and it was very shallow where we found him. And luckily, because that's what helped us locate him, was the shallow water.
A shocking secret may have been hiding in plain sight all along. While fans thought they knew everything about Matt Brown's struggles, few could have imagined the staggering fortune allegedly left behind and the emotional fallout it sparked within the Brown family. What Matt Brown allegedly left behind was so shocking.
Evening to Chapaca Mountain, gonna go on a 2 to 3 day adventure. So Tom's doing a little bit of maintenance on Max here. He got the plugs swapped out, or not swapped, cleaned here a little bit ago. Tonight I've decided I'm gonna teach y'all guys how to juggle. I know I've gone over it before, but I don't know if I actually got in depth enough to actually give you a small tutorial and then you be able to juggle. So I'm gonna help you out like I needed help back.
That it reportedly left his family members in tears. Did Matt secretly have more money than anyone knew? And what was found that still has people talking today? Join us as we reveal the fortune Matt allegedly left behind. The son who carried the family to fame. When Alaskan bush people first showed up on the Discovery Channel back in May 2014, nobody thought a family of 9 pretending to live completely off the grid would become a massive cable television hit. The series followed Billy and Amy Brown, along with their 7 kids, as they supposedly built a life deep in the Alaskan woods. They put together cabins and survived in a little settlement they decided to call Browntown. The whole thing was weird and messy, and viewers just could not turn off their TVs. At the center of it all stood Matt, the eldest of the 7 siblings, and he was the one fans connected with first. He combined his father's stubborn survival instincts with a curiosity and humor that none of his brothers could quite match, and he built contraptions out of scrap while charming the cameras without even trying. Matt appeared in 79 episodes across the show's first 8 seasons, and for many viewers, he was the beating heart of the entire series. The ratings just kept going up every single season, and the Brown family turned into bizarre celebrities. The show dragged on for 14 seasons before finally wrapping up in 2022. At its absolute peak, it drew millions of viewers every week, turning a family that claimed to hate electricity into one of the most profitable assets on the Discovery Channel. Then came the merchandise, the appearance fees, the corporate sponsorships, and the exact kind of massive wealth the family always claimed they did not care about. Fans loved Matt because he never bothered pretending to be perfect. He laughed at his own failed inventions, talked openly about feeling like the odd one out among his brothers, and gave the show a genuine vulnerability that reality TV usually fakes. Viewers who originally tuned in for the wilderness stuff ended up staying just for him. The producers definitely knew it too, which made it even worse for the audience when he completely vanished from the series. Behind the scenes, the pressure was already destroying the oldest son. Matt checked into rehab for alcoholism in 2016 and went back again in 2018 at the Betty Ford Center because the guy who looked completely unstoppable on television was actually falling apart in real life. When the family moved over to Washington State after Amy got diagnosed with cancer, Matt stayed behind in California to keep working on his treatment. His absence from the show just kept dragging on until it became permanent. By 2019, he was completely gone from the series, and Discovery remained completely silent about it, which naturally led fans to invent endless conspiracy theories online. But the fortune flowing into Browntown was hiding a secret that would eventually tear the family apart. The money machine behind Browntown. The Brown family basically made a fortune by pretending to be completely broke. People tuned in every single week, convinced that these guys were actually starving in the woods, hunting for dinner, and trading junk just to get by while sticking it to modern society. The reality was a complete joke. Alaskan bush people was handing the family massive stacks of cash, and reports over the years confirmed they were pulling in serious money per season when the show hit its peak. Yet there was one detail the cameras never showed, and it would become the most explosive claim in the show's history. All the money allegedly flowed through one man, because Billy reportedly controlled the contracts, the accounts, and the business entities behind the family brand, while his adult children saw very little of what they earned. The arrangement stayed buried for years because the Browns presented themselves as a wolf pack that shared everything and needed nothing. Matt later claimed that the structure left him with nothing at all. He alleged that his parents kept $360,000 of his earnings from the show, money he said he was owed for years of filming. He described asking his mother for $100 to buy food and being told she did not have it, even as the family business continued to generate income from the series he had helped build. "I didn't have any money or anything. My dad kept that all," he said. These were allegations, and the family never publicly responded to them in detail. Billy passed away in February 2021 after suffering a seizure at 68 years old. And whatever the truth was, it was never settled between father and son in any courtroom. Matt did say he managed to reconcile with his father before his passing, which gave fans some comfort. But the question of the money was never resolved publicly, and it hung over the family like a storm cloud that refused to break. For the siblings still appearing on the show, the family fortune continued to grow. North Star Ranch, the 435-acre property in Washington's North Cascades Mountains, became the new Brown Town, and the family continued filming there until the series quietly ended. Matt, meanwhile, was living a very different life just a short distance away, watching the empire he helped create move on without him. Then, one night in April 2021, Matt sat down in front of his own camera, and what he said changed everything. The night Matt told the world everything. 2 months after Billy's death, Matt posted a 9-minute video to Instagram that detonated like a bomb inside the Alaskan bush people fandom. He sat beside a campfire, his face barely visible against the twilight sky, and told fans he could not stay silent any longer. He admitted that people had tried to talk him out of it, but he said the secrets had been destroying him for a long time. What followed was the most damaging account of the show ever given by a cast member. Matt claimed that the series was built on a lie, and that producers took one small survivalist piece of the family's real life and forced them to perform it as their entire identity. He claimed the family made enormous money from the show while his father controlled all of it, leaving him with nothing despite years in front of the cameras. Then came the allegation that shocked even the most cynical fans. Matt claimed that members of the production crew supplied his parents with drugs during filming, mainly cocaine, and that he eventually started receiving some too. He said the environment fed his alcoholism and his addictions, and that it pushed him into the darkest period of his life, including an affair with a married woman that he said warped his judgment. He even claimed he once broke into his father's room and accessed his laptop to understand the deals being made behind his back. None of these claims were ever proven, and Discovery never publicly addressed them, so the allegations remain exactly that: the words of a man who was estranged from his family and battling his own demons when he spoke them. But fans noticed something chilling about the video: how calm Matt seemed and how rehearsed his pain sounded, as if he had been holding that speech inside himself for a decade. The video drove a final wedge between Matt and the family. Most of his siblings reportedly cut off contact, and in the years that followed, only Gabe maintained any real communication with his older brother, and even those conversations were reportedly few and far between. the eldest son of reality TV's most famous wilderness family, was now almost completely alone. And yet, in his exile, Matt was quietly building something that no one could take from him. The exile who rebuilt himself from nothing. Matt settled in Loomis, Washington, a tiny town of roughly 100 residents, close enough to North Star Ranch to see his old life and far enough away to never touch it. He lived off the grid in a small wooden cabin and earned his living working on a local farm, tending orchards with his hands. The man who once starred in front of millions now woke up, made his bed, worked the land, and went to sleep in silence. It would be easy to call that a fall from grace, but Matt never saw it that way. After completing a 90-day program at the Betty Ford Center, he committed to sobriety and reportedly stayed clean from 2019 onward. He marked his milestones publicly, once posting a photo of himself smiling while holding up a one-year sobriety chip. And his honesty about recovery became the foundation for a brand new audience. More than 200,000 people followed him on Instagram, and tens of thousands subscribed to his YouTube channel, where he shared wilderness skills, simple living, and the slow, unglamorous work of staying sober. There were dark chapters he could not outrun. In 2020, 2 women made serious allegations against him in a tabloid interview, claims that reportedly contributed to his removal from the show, although no charges were ever filed. Matt rarely addressed the controversy, keeping his focus on the quiet life he had chosen, posting videos of orchards, rivers, and campfires instead of feuds and drama. Fans who watched his content saw a man at peace, or at least a man holding on to peace with both hands. He talked about helping others who struggled with addiction, and he answered messages from strangers fighting the same battles he had fought. In May 2024, he even sparked excitement by appearing in a video alongside a woman whom fans speculated was a new girlfriend. And, for a moment, it looked as though the eldest Brown had finally found a future worth building. His content never chased controversy either, and that restraint won him real respect. While his siblings continued to live publicly through the show and on social media, Matt filmed apple harvests, sunrise walks, and talks by the fire. And the comments on his videos were filled with people thanking him for helping them stay sober one more day. But people who followed him closely said the loneliness never fully left. He was a few miles from a family that no longer called, sitting on claims about money that no one ever answered, and carrying the weight of a childhood spent performing for cameras. The peace he showed the world was real, but it was fragile. And in the last week of May 2026, that fragile peace finally shattered beside a river in Washington. The river that took him home. On a Wednesday morning in late May, a relative spotted Matt near the Driscoll Island Wildlife Area off Highway 97 in Oroville, Washington, a campground and fishing spot he was known to visit. Hours later, a witness reported seeing a man swept away in the fast-moving current of the Okanagan River. The witness reportedly looked away for a moment, heard a sound, and turned back to see the man face down in the water, being carried downstream. Police, firefighters, and emergency crews launched an immediate search, but the river gave them nothing. Days earlier, Matt had alarmed fans with a YouTube live stream that left many worried about his state of mind. And as word of the missing man spread, the Brown family began connecting details that terrified them. Bear posted an emotional video telling fans that witnesses had seen Matt near the river.
You know, the hardest thing at first was just like the not knowing, because there were a lot of...
I have some bad news. My oldest brother, Matthew Brown, has passed away.
And that the family was deeply worried, even though authorities had not yet identified the missing man. On Saturday, May 30th, a private search team recovered a body from the Okanagan River after kayakers spotted a brown jacket in the murky water, just a few miles south of where Matt was last seen alive. The body was positively identified as Matt. His brother Noah was there and helped pull him from the water, and it was Noah who made the identification. Bear announced the news that night in a video, his voice breaking as he told fans the family was still reeling. The Okanogan County coroner later confirmed that Matt had taken his own life at 43 years old. Bear admitted he never imagined his brother would hurt himself, saying he struggled for a long time, and confessing that he had feared an overdose, but never this. The shock rippled through millions of fans who had followed Matt's recovery for years and believed the hardest chapter of his story was already behind him. Anyone who is struggling or knows someone in crisis can call or text 988 at any time to reach trained support. The tragedy carried a cruel echo of everything that came before it. The river that took Matt ran through the same wilderness that made his family famous, and he died almost within sight of the ranch his family bought with the fortune he claimed he never saw. Now, the family that spent years apart from Matt was forced to face everything they had left unsaid. A family's tears for the son they lost twice. The tributes came fast, and they came heavy with regret. The Brown family released a joint statement honoring Matt, telling fans that to millions of viewers, he was one of the original stars of the show. But to them, he was so much more. They described him as intelligent, curious, and creative, a gifted outdoorsman and artist who never stopped learning. He was compassionate, generous with his time, the family wrote, praising the way he used his sobriety to help strangers fighting addiction. For fans who had watched the estrangement play out over 5 painful years, the words landed with a bitter sting. This was a family that had reportedly cut off nearly all contact with Matt after his 2021 video. A family he accused of withholding his money and leaving him hungry, now describing him in language soaked with love. Both things can be true at once, because grief has a way of dissolving every grudge in an instant. But the contrast was impossible for viewers to ignore. Gabe, the brother who never fully let go, spoke through visible pain about what he had wanted for Matt. He said he had hoped his brother would come back to how things used to be, back to the bond they shared before the cameras, the money, and the accusations poisoned everything. Rain and Noah also spoke about how hard the loss had hit them, and Noah carried the unimaginable burden of having pulled his own brother from the river. The pain was sharpened by everything money could not fix. The Browns still hold North Star Ranch and the wealth generated by 14 seasons of television. Yet none of it could buy back the years of silence, and none of it could answer the question Matt left hanging in the air since 2021. The $360,000 he claimed was taken from him was never publicly accounted for. And now, the one man who demanded answers is gone forever. Fans flooded social media with messages saying they had missed him on the show the moment he left, and many admitted they had always hoped for a reunion episode to bring the eldest son home. That reunion will never happen now, and the family knows it. Which leaves one final question, and it is the question this entire story has been building toward. The fortune Matt really left behind. So what exactly did Matt leave behind, and why does it make his family cry? The answer is not a bank account, because, by his own account, Matt lived simply and owned little beyond his cabin, his tools, and his hard-won independence. The fortune he left behind is something far heavier, and it comes in 3 parts. The first part is the unresolved claim. Matt died still alleging that $360,000 of his earnings never reached him, and that allegation now belongs to history with no resolution attached. Every time the family looks at the ranch, the brand, and the legacy of the show, that number reportedly hangs over all of it. A debt of truth that can never be paid to the man who demanded it. The second part is the audience he built on his own. Stripped of the show, the network, and the family machinery, Matt attracted hundreds of thousands of followers with nothing but honesty about addiction and recovery. His videos reached people in their darkest moments, and even his family acknowledged that he encouraged others to seek help and reminded them they were never alone. That community, built from a one-room cabin in a town of 100 people, may be worth more than anything the show ever generated. The third part is the hardest one, and it is the lesson his death forces on everyone who watched. Gabe stood in front of the cameras after the loss and admitted that all he had wanted was for his brother to come back to how things used to be. Those words are the real inheritance, because they capture what fame and fortune actually cost this family, which was time. 5 years of estrangement that everyone assumed could be repaired someday, until someday ran out beside a river in Washington. Does fame build families up or quietly tear them apart? Did the show cost the Browns their eldest son? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.